Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something crucial for any business, taking all that market research data,
Mountains of it, sometimes.
like mountains of it, and turning it into, actual actions, things that genuinely drive growth. We want to help you cut through the noise.
Yeah, it's about bridging that gap, isn't it? From just having information to actually using it effectively, seeing how data becomes real results.
And we're looking at this based on the two main types of data you usually encounter. First up, quantitative.
Right, the number stuff, statistics, percentages, measurable results from surveys, sales figures, patterns in behavior you can count. The what?
Then there's the qualitative side. This is more about the why, isn't it? Attitudes, motivations. What makes people tick? You get this from open-ended questions, focus groups, interviews.
Absolutely. And you really need both for the full picture. Quant gives you scale, quant gives you depth. They work together.
So our mission today, really, is to equip you with a clear understanding, practical steps on how to move from collecting that data to actually implementing changes that improve your business, no matter your technical background.
And we're drawing these insights from a great source. Market research data into actionable ideas, a roadmap for rapid growth of businesses. It's by Kalyani Raj, came out last October. Really practical stuff.
Okay, let's dive in, starting with quantitative data. Now, numbers seem objective, right? And that's their strength for decision-making.
It is, but as Raj points out, the real trick is interpreting those numbers in relation to your actual business goals. What do they mean for what you're trying to achieve?
So just having the stats isn't enough. You need context.
Precisely. You start by looking for trends, maybe correlations. Like, imagine your surveys consistently show lower satisfaction with one specific product feature over, say, 6 months.
That's not just a blip.
No, it's a trend. And it's basically screaming, hey, look at me, improve this. It signals an underlying issue, not just random noise.
Okay, so spotting negative trends is key. What about finding opportunities in the numbers?
Well, think about sales performance by region. Analyzing that might show, one area is really lagging. Maybe you need a different strategy there.
Or maybe another area is booming unexpectedly.
Exactly. That could signal untapped potential. A reason to maybe invest more resources there or figure out why it's working so well.
And this applies to product development, too.
Yeah.
If the data points towards, say, a preferred price range or a feature people really want.
Absolutely. That quantitative data can directly inform your product roadmap and your marketing. You can even use it to segment your customers more effectively.
Segmenting. So targeting specific groups based on what the numbers tell you they like or how they behave.
Yes. It makes your marketing spend much more efficient and your product development more focused. You're not guessing. You're responding to revealed preferences.
Raj mentions this fast fact from Deloitte, a 2023 survey of chief data officers. It really underscores this.
Oh, yeah. What did it find?
Well, enhancing data and analytics utilization was the top priority for 68% of them. And things like delivering on data strategy, improving data culture, also right up there.
Wow. So even at the C-suite level, the focus is shifting from just having data to actively using it.
Exactly. It's not just about collection anymore. It's about application.
Which brings us neatly to the other side of the coin.
Right. Qualitative data, we've got the numbers, but what about the stories, the reasons why people do what they do?
This is where qualitative shines. As Raja emphasizes, it provides that deep, rich understanding of attitudes, behaviors, motivations. It gets to the why behind the what's.
And you gather this differently. Right? It's more exploratory.
Definitely. Open-ended survey questions where people can really explain themselves. Focus groups where you get discussion and interaction. One-on-one interviews for deep dives. It's less about counting, more about understanding meaning.
So how do you turn those conversations and comments into action? It seems less clear-cut than numbers.
Well, the process involves identifying recurring themes. You look for patterns in what people are saying. For instance, if multiple customer interviews bring up frustration with, say, your onboarding process.
Okay, that's a theme, a pain point.
Exactly. That's a clear signal for where improvements are needed. It tells you why they're struggling, not just that they are.
And focus groups, can they uncover things people don't even realize they want?
Sometimes, yes. Through discussion, you might stumble upon unmet needs or desires that aren't being served by anything currently on the market. That can spark genuine innovation.
So it's about understanding those kind of emotional drivers and finding gaps.
Precisely. And then, crucially, you implement. If your qualitative research points to a need for, say, more personalized support.
Then you might invest in new training or maybe technology to deliver that.
Exactly. You translate the insight People want more personal connection into a concrete action, retrain support staff, or implement a new CRM feature.
Okay, so we have insights from both quantitative and qualitative data.
Yeah.
Now, how do we build a bridge from insight to actual concrete action? It feels like a big jump sometimes.
It can be, which is why Rajay stresses having a structured plan, a roadmap, essentially.
Right. And what's the first step on that map?
Prioritization. You'll likely have loads of insights. You have to focus on the ones most relevant to your main business objectives. Otherwise, you just get overwhelmed.
Beta overload. Yeah, I can see that. So filter based on strategic goals. Then what?
Then you set clear objectives based on those prioritized insights and make them measurable. SMART goals, basically.
Specific, measurable, achievable, all that.
Exactly. So instead of just improve customer satisfaction, it's increase customer satisfaction score for feature X by 10% within 6 months based on the feedback you got.
Okay, clear targets. And then you break those down.
Into specific, manageable actions. Each objective needs concrete steps linked to it.
And importantly, someone needs to own each step, right, with a deadline.
Absolutely crucial. Assign responsibility, set deadlines. That ensures accountability and stops things falling through the cracks. No ambiguity.
And this plan needs a timeline, looking beyond just the immediate tasks.
Yes, mapping out short-term actions and longer-term goals helps everyone see the bigger picture and the progression.
But it's not set and forget, is it?
Not at all. Raj emphasizes the need for a continuous feedback loop. You need to constantly track progress using key performance indicators, KPIs, for each action.
Ah, KPIs. So you're measuring if the actions are actually working.
Precisely. You assess, you see what the results are, and you adjust your plan based on new insights or maybe market changes. It's agile. It's iterative.
Okay, that makes sense. An ongoing process. Now, when we're looking at all this data, what are the key things we're trying to spot? Raj mentions trends, pain points, and opportunities.
Yeah, those are the nuggets of gold you're digging for. Trends often emerge from seeing consistent patterns over time, like that recurring feedback we mentioned, or maybe shifts in purchasing behavior across large data sets.
And spotting these helps you anticipate what's coming next.
Exactly. Changes in preferences, market shifts, maybe new industry standards, getting ahead of the curve.
Okay, trends. What about pain points? That seems more straightforward, finding what annoys customers.
Pretty much. Qualitative data is great for this. Interviews, open-ended questions, they reveal frustrations, complaints. If lots of people mention usability issues with your app, that's a clear pain point.
And you need to address those to stop people leaving.
Right. It prevents dissatisfaction and builds loyalty, fix the friction.
And the third one, opportunities. How does data reveal those?
Opportunities often come from spotting gaps, market gaps, unmet needs. You find these by comparing your research findings, what people say they want or need, with what's currently available, both from you and your competitors.
So if your research shows customers asking for something nobody offers yet.
Bingo. That's a potential opportunity for innovation or maybe expanding into a new niche, an unmet need you could potentially fill.
Got it. Find the gaps. Now, we touched on this, but let's emphasize it. Continuous market monitoring. Why is it so vital to keep looking, even if for a big research project?
Because the market never sleeps. Raj makes this point really clearly. Preferences change, competitors make moves, technology evolves, the economy shifts. Relying on old data is risky.
Decisions based on outdated info. That leads to trouble.
Or missed opportunities. Customer expectations are constantly being reshaped by new products, new tech. You need ongoing feedback analysis to stay relevant.
So it helps you stay ahead of the curve. Identify new issues or trends before everyone else does.
That's a huge advantage. Proactive identification gives you a competitive edge, plus it lets you measure the impact of the strategies you've already implemented.
Ah, right. So you can see if your actions based on previous research are actually working.
Exactly. If the results aren't what you expected, continuous monitoring tells you early so you can adjust. You don't wait 6 months to find out something isn't working.
It's about agility again. And predicting future shifts, too.
To some extent, yes. It helps you anticipate market evolution, prepare for disruptions like new tech or economic downturns, and make informed pivots to ensure long-term survival and growth.
It all sounds great, but let's be real. This process isn't always easy.
Right.
Rajay acknowledges challenges, right? What are some common hurdles?
Oh, definitely. One huge one is just data overload.
Yeah.
So much information coming from everywhere, it can be paralyzing.
Right. How do you even start to sort through it all to find what's actually important?
It's tough. Without a clear focus, you can struggle to extract the truly actionable insights, leading to, analysis paralysis or just bad decisions based on noise.
Yes.
Another big challenge is aligning the research insights with the overall business strategy. You might find something really interesting,
Yeah.
but if it doesn't clearly connect to the company's main goals, it might just get ignored. A fascinating insight that leads nowhere is kind of a waste of effort.
Good point. Needs to be relevant to the bigger picture.
What about internal stuff? Like
Yeah.
different teams? That's a classic one. Lack of coordination between departments. Marketing, products, sales, customer service, they all touch this stuff if they're not communicating and working together.
The insights get lost in silos.
Exactly. Translating insights into cohesive action becomes really difficult if everyone's not on the same page.
And then there's just people resisting change, even if the data says it's necessary.
Yep. That's human nature sometimes. Fear of risk, worries about cost, disrupting comfortable routines. Even compelling data can hit a wall of internal resistance.
So overcoming those hurdles, the overload, the alignment issue, the silos, the resistance is key.
Absolutely. It takes conscious effort.
Yeah.
Better analysis processes, clear strategic links, fostering collaboration, and building a culture that actually values data-driven change.
Okay, final piece of the puzzle. Tracking success. We take action based on research. How do we know if it worked? This is where KPIs and metrics come in.
Precisely. KPIs, key performance indicators, and other metrics are essential. They give you that quantitative proof of whether your actions are having the desired impact.
And step one is making sure those KPIs line up with the objectives you set earlier.
Yes, absolutely critical. If your research showed dissatisfaction, maybe your KPI is a reduction in complaint rates or an improvement in specific satisfaction scores.
Yeah.
They have to be directly linked.
Okay. And the metrics are the actual numbers you track.
Right. The specific data points. So for that new feature you launched based on feedback, metrics might be things like the adoption rate, how many people are using it, maybe retention rates for those users, even sales impact.
And watching these consistently tells you if you're on the right track.
Exactly. If the metrics are moving in the right direction, it validates your actions. If they're flat or going down, it signals, okay, time to rethink or adjust.
So it closes the loop. Research, plan, act, measure, adjust.
And repeat. It's that continuous monitoring and feedback cycle powered by data. That's what allows businesses to be agile and optimized for real long-term success.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the journey. We've covered interpreting both the numbers, quantitative, and the stories, qualitative. We've talked building structured plans.
With clear goals and accountability.
Right. Identifying trends and pain points, the huge importance of continuous monitoring.
Navigating those common challenges like overload and resistance.
And finally, using KPIs and metrics to actually track if your actions are making a difference.
It's a whole process, but understanding these parts helps you move from just having data to actively using it as fuel for real business growth.
So as we wrap up, here's something for you, the listener, to think about. Look at the data your own organization has. Is there one key insight maybe sitting there overlooked? And what's one small measurable thing you could do, maybe even this week, to start exploring its potential? Time to start your own deep dive. Thanks for joining us.